Hi everyone, welcome back to So Arizona. Today we are talking about garlic. If you planted garlic last fall and you've waited all the way through the winter and the spring, it is now time to start thinking about harvesting it. And that is really exciting because when you plant garlic, it's a long-term game. It takes 8 or 9 months for garlic to come to maturity, and that ties up our garden beds for quite a while. So it's a bit of a sacrifice, but in my opinion, well worth it. So we are in early summer here in southern Arizona. It is mid-April. We plant and harvest our garlic earlier than in other parts of the country, but either way, no matter where you're growing garlic, you are looking for some of the same signs that your garlic is ready to harvest. And that's what we're talking about today. It is so easy to feel a little bit impatient and want to get that garlic out of the way so that you can plant other things. And it's also really hard to wait because it's so exciting to have fresh garlic available to cook with in your kitchen. It is so delicious, and I think one crop that is well worth growing yourself if you have the space. So let's go through all of the different things that you are looking for to know that it's time to get this garlic out of the ground. The first thing is the leaves. It's the easiest sign to look for, and that is the number of leaves that have turned brown. You don't want to pull your garlic too soon, because if you do, you are not going to have that nice developed bulb that you're hoping for. If your garlic still looks like it's completely green, it's too early. And what you want to look for is the first 3 to 4 leaves from the soil line to be turning brown. So when we look at our garlic plant, we're going to be looking at each set of leaves. And you can see here in this garlic that only the first set of leaves has turned brown on both sides. And it looks like the second pair is now starting. But really what we want are the first 4. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. If your garlic plant is brown up to the 4th set of leaves, then generally speaking, it's time to be pulled. The next thing you want to look at is the size of the garlic bulb. Right at the soil line, you can carefully dig around the base of the garlic to test and feel how much that garlic bulb has enlarged. And this one looks like it is obviously not quite ready yet because it is still not flared out very much right here. So that is a second thing that you can look at. So I'm just going to cover this back up because I know that the garlic isn't ready yet. Another thing that you can consult is the timing. So different varieties of garlic, just like different varieties of vegetables, will come to maturity at different times. So whatever seed supplier you get your garlic from, they will probably indicate how long that garlic is going to take. So there are 2 different types of garlic, hardneck and softneck. Here in southern Arizona, I grow softneck garlic because it does much better in the heat. But if you're in a more northern climate, you may be growing hardneck garlic. And so you want to consult with your seed supplier to see when exactly those will come to maturity. I have got 5 or 6 different kinds of garlic here, softneck garlic. So I'm not expecting that each of them is going to come to maturity at the same time. So with each row of this garlic, I will come through and I will check each variety just to see what it's looking like and if it's ready to harvest. So timing is another indication. Just as with everything else in the garden, the weather influences when your garlic comes to maturity. You're looking at day length, you're looking at temperature. So depending on the year, it may develop a little faster or a little slower. So keep your eye on the weather and just look for all of those signs. If you're growing hardneck garlic, you want to also look at scape formation. So softneck garlic does not develop a scape, but hardneck garlic does. As that scape develops, you want to prune that off if you are looking to harvest the garlic bulb, because you don't want all of the energy that would go into building the bulb to instead go into flower development. So trim that scape off as you see it developing. If you leave it on, then as the garlic becomes mature, the scape is going to point towards the sky. So that is another example, but really you should be trimming that scape off. Another thing you can do is you can pull a test garlic plant. If you're seeing all of the other signs that your garlic is ready, just go ahead and pull one and check and see what that bulb looks like. And if you're satisfied with the size of that and you see all the other signs, then it is time to harvest your garlic. I planted this garlic last fall and it is now mid-April and it's getting close, but I think it has another maybe 3 weeks or 4, and then I will be able to harvest all of this lovely garlic. While you're waiting for your garlic to finish maturing, you can get your setup for curing your garlic ready. What you want are flat surfaces that you can lay your garlic out on so that it can dry and cure. And then after that, you'll be able to trim the tops and trim the roots and then store it for long term in your kitchen. So what I like to do is use my covered patio, and that's because it is in the shade and there's plenty of airflow there. You don't want to be curing your garlic in the direct sunlight, especially here in the Southwest, because you are going to get cooked garlic or roasted garlic instead of nicely cured garlic for long-term storage. Last year I had so much garlic that I didn't have enough tables to spread it out on. So I actually used a couple of our old doors that we pulled off of our house. They were metal, and so they worked really well just to provide a flat, dry surface. You can also use screens, mesh. I've used old window screens before and that works really well. So whatever you have. I've got some sawhorses that I will set up. I will put the boards, the doors, the screens, whatever, right on top of those, put it under my shaded porch and just wait. And it usually takes a couple of weeks before I'm ready to move on to the next step. So if you're waiting for your garlic to be ready to harvest, you can be getting your setup for curing ready so that you feel like you are making some progress towards that beautiful, delicious garlic in your kitchen. So just to review, you want to consider how long your garlic has been in the ground, what variety you're growing, and about the time for maturity for that particular variety. You also want to look at the leaves and whether or not the first 3 to 4 sets of leaves are brown, as well as taking a peek at the bulb down below the soil line. And then lastly, you can pull a test garlic plant to see if it's mature. I hope this takes the guesswork out of it for you for knowing when to harvest your garlic. I'm Kara from So Arizona. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy gardening.